Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to round number 3 of the Volkswagen Scirocco League here with NXTGEN. Got a number of drivers joining at the moment. We've had a few sort of technical issues trying to get the lobby started. It seems to be a few drivers weren't able to see the room, but we are now up and running, which is good to see. And obviously currently just watching Mr. Timmy DJG 94 in his sort of chrome green livery going around this wonderful Tsukuba race circuit. 5 in at the moment, just going around. See D10 Piper out on circuit at the moment as well. Still waiting for a number of others to jump in as well. So having a quick look in terms of the championship standings and tell you where everyone sits in the lobby. Evening to P. Gibb, who's obviously racing, and as well to Bert Fry, obviously. Good evening to you two. Obviously, make sure you keep your eyes on the road rather than typing a message to me. But hey, I appreciate the messages nonetheless. Now, currently got 6 entered. I know that Jordan is also in the lobby. That's JPH99, so there's 7. But I'll give you a rundown of the championship standings. So, currently in first place in the championship, having won the opening 2 rounds, is NXTGEN Heracram. Now, unfortunately tonight, Heracram is unable to race. We know how quick he is. He's a fantastically quick driver, but unfortunately he's unable to make it tonight. So an opportunity for a new race winner during this season. Second place in the championship, Burnt Fry at CRT. He's on 33 points. He's 13 behind Heracram, so a good chance, an opportunity for people to take the lead of the championship. Joint second with him as well, we were riding with him earlier as P. Gibb runs a little bit wide coming out of turn number 1, is Timmy DJG 94. He's on 33 points as well. Then in joint fourth we have Slow Seamus, JPH 99 and D Whitehouse, all on 23 points. Now that is important, which we'll come to in a moment. Bruce Lee Hardin is in 7th in the championship. He's on 22. D10 Piper is 8th on 19. P. Gibb 92 is on 9. And last but not least, Wace is yet to score due to various technical difficulties in the opening 2 rounds. Now, the reason why I said before it was important to remember is because 6 drivers will be unable to qualify tonight. 6 drivers. It's the first time we've ever had that many, and there's a reason for it. As I was mentioning before, there are 3 drivers in 4th place in the championship on 23 points. All obviously have the same score. So their championship means that because of the same points, they've got to start from the back, which means 4 drivers have an opportunity to take pole position tonight. So we'll be mainly focusing on those over our qualifying session. Whether qualifying is going to be 5 minutes long or 10 minutes long, we are yet to see. But in any case, that is the situation. Now the drivers that can qualify are P. Gibb 92. He can qualify. He's got an opportunity to potentially get pole position, as has D10 Piper. He's another one who's got an opportunity. Wace in that JD number 77 car has got a bit of lag going on again, which is unfortunate for Wace. And Bruce Lee Hardin as well. He is the other driver who has an opportunity to qualify. Those are the only 4. Everyone else has to set a predetermined lap time to start in reverse order. So looking to see how they get on. So I'm just waiting to see what happens here. So, exciting opportunity on our hands. We will have a new pole position driver on that front, because obviously Heracram has taken both pole positions this season so far, and we'll also have a brand new race winner for the season 2. So it's going to be really, really exciting to see how the drivers get on. We're just waiting on JPH 99 to enter. He's currently sorting a few different settings out at the moment, but once he's entered we should be able to get underway with qualifying and then straight into the race. So, what a circuit we're at. We're at Tsukuba. Very, very short circuit is Tsukuba race circuit. Built in 1966, of course. Was sort of mainly open to appeal to young drivers. There was a growing car culture in Japan during the sort of 50s and the 60s. Young men wanted to take part and show off what they could do. Tsukuba was built in that sort of frame set. 2 miles, effectively, or rather 2 kilometres. So 1.287 miles in length. Technically speaking, on the circuit there are 14 turns. However, GT Sport classes it as having 9 corners, which is a little bit awkward in that respect, but we will go with the 9. That's our bet. Race lap record round here is Kamui Kobayashi, the former Formula 1 driver. Used to race for Sauber, of course. Obviously had a stint at Caterham for 1 season as well. He's got a lap record here in one of the Super Formula cars, and he did that 5 years ago. So that lap time was a 44 flat. We certainly aren't going to be seeing 44 second lap times in the Scirocco, but qualifying has started. Wace has left, which is not ideal. So we're now down to 3 drivers who could take pole position. Qualifying will last 10 minutes. So let's see how the drivers get on. Timmy first to jump straight out, of course. And a little bit of information about Tsukuba. For those that are unaware, we're not going to stay with Jordan. We're going to ride on. We're going to ride on the outside of D Whitehouse. Seamus just saying he was lagging. Yeah, he did have a few issues with lag. Did Wace. Evening to Jordan as well. He's just commented on the Twitch stream there. Unlike most circuits, Tsukuba is the admission's actually free around Tsukuba. For those that didn't know, so if you show up in a track day car, it's free to turn up to do so. It's really good, and it costs, I believe, 500 yen on weekends, which is very, very cheap. For those that are wondering how much 500 yen is in pounds, just trying to do a very quick, rough calculation in my head at the moment. I think it's about £3.50, something like that. £3.50, £3.60, something like that. So very, very cheap, as far as I'm aware. So yeah, usually you can fit about 8,500 spectators in the stands. Obviously, with it being a track that's only 1.2 miles roughly, it's not going to be the biggest circuit in the world, but it's a really good spectator sort of spot to take part in. It appeared in tons of games, of course, in the past, particularly Gran Turismo. Obviously, it featured in the original Forza Motorsport. It's in R Factor, Tourist Trophy again. So a good number of games it's been involved with. So drivers just come round at the moment, just setting their first lap times. I say drivers, I should really be saying the trio of cars who have an opportunity to get in pole position, because Wace, unfortunately, has left the session, and with his lag it'll be a debate as to whether he'll be able to return. So P. Gibbs sets the running on a 50-60. Whitehouse has gone far too quickly, so he's just messed that one up for everyone. So nice one, Dave. Bruce Lee currently in first place at the moment. He sets the provisional running between the 3 drivers that can set a lap. Jordan, it means you're going to have to do a reset, and now that Wace is rejoined, it definitely means you're going to have to do a reset on the manual grid order. D. Whitehouse has set that lap time, which shouldn't have done. P. Gibb obviously didn't get a full-blown lap in there. He's only a tenth and a half away from Bruce, but I think there's more time to come from the red and blue driver. Dave just saying he's forgotten. Yeah, that's not ideal. Where is the other qualifier in the midst of all this? It's D10 Piper. That's Gibb who... No, it's D. Whitehouse who's got into the wall. D10 Piper just coming around turn 8. Very difficult corner to get right in that car he's driving there. Gibbs now gone P1 provisionally at the moment, so Gibb setting the time and screen to blaze there with a 56 flat. A little bit slower than the Renault Megane, of course. There's Bruce's second. There's D10 Piper. We'll ride on board with him. He sets a personal best. Coming down into turn number 1. He's down the gears aggressively into second. Runs a little bit deeper than what he would have wanted later on the power, so compromise there. Now he's coming into turn 2 and 3. It's a quick left and a quick right, and on the brakes down into second again for turn number 4. Got to hook the apex and then get as early on the power as you can. Up into third gear, the wheels spinning, and D10 elects to stay in third gear for turn number 5. It's completely flat Oh, maybe not. It's turn 6, a little bit of a lift into turn 7, then down on the brakes into turn 8. That left-hander considered to be 2 corners rather than 1. The hairpin, it looks like he navigated it very well, did D10 Piper. And now he's on the back stretch coming towards turn 9. In 5th gear, down to 4th. Takes a little bit of a wider line, maybe tightens up a little too early, did D10. Runs over the curb, but not too much of a problem. And that's a quicker lap time, he's up to 4th. Or rather, he's still in 4th, he improves. He's only 7 tenths now off the pace. So, Bruce Lee Harding provisionally pole. Is he going to be our new pole position holder? He's got a half second penalty, so that's his lap done. Still got 5 minutes to go in the session. Gibb in second, only 300ths of a second behind Bruce Lee Harding in that very bright red, blue and the yellow striped livery he's got going on there. He'll be hoping that he can bounce back with another lap, and he improves, but look at the gap between the two. It's 1300ths of a second, exceptionally close between Bruce and P. Gibb. Here comes Bruce, he's obviously going on to another lap now. Unable to go any quicker was Bruce due to his half a second time penalty, but he must have picked up through turn 2. Piper now to 3rd, so gets himself ahead of the forgetful D. Whitehouse, but within 6 tenths of the drivers, and that's a decent lap time from Piper. He's decided to go off the circuit as Piper and pulled over into the gravel trap. So is there any more time to come from him, or is he happy with settling into 3rd place? Gibb now coming round the final corner. Completely flat, nice line. And he improves, and it's 8 thousandths of a second in front of Bruce Lee Harding. Obviously do what I was saying, drop at the start. Bruce Lee doesn't improve on that lap. Just going to have a quick message into the chat box there, just to say manual grid. Let's put a question mark there so that Jordan can answer whether he wants to or not. That's obviously down to him. So Bruce Lee Harding currently 2 tenths up. And Jordan just answering the question there. I will do a manual grid set to get Wace in, because Wace is currently in the lobby just waiting for everyone. So Gibb improves on his lap, gets that up to 200ths of a second. No restarts, of course. Bruce Lee taking as much of the curb as he possibly can on that corner, going around the final corner, turn 9, and he doesn't improve. Doesn't improve. He was 2 tenths up. I think D. Whitehouse is in the right spot, actually. He is in 4th. But I think the key point is to get Wace back in at the end of the day. So I'll just have a quick message on that one. So Gibb just coming round turn 9. Got a nice line through there as Gibb. He's nailed it a couple of times now. Doesn't improve. I think D10 Piper, I think he's happy with 3rd. So it's a battle now between the 2 cars, the silver and black. Scirocco of Bruce Lee doesn't improve again, goes slower that time. What I do find fascinating is the amount of mileage that the drivers are putting in terms of the Scirocco that they're driving. Obviously, some drivers doing a lot more. And just looking in the corner at the moment, 347 miles that Bruce Lee's put in. Gibb only doing 216. D10 Piper's got 206. D Whitehouse has got 310. Jordan got 557. Seamus has got 1,869. Timmy on 198. Burnt Fry on 351. We don't know what Wace has, of course, but Seamus has put a lot of time and effort into that Scirocco in that sort of grey livery that he's got there, which has grown on me over the last few weeks. It's a nice livery. I am a big fan of that. The Irish driver's done quite well there. So, 1 minute to go in the session. Enough time for both Bruce and P. Gibb to set a lap. D10 Piper, I think, has called it quits on the lap time now. So he's happy with third. It'll be his best start of the season for D10 Piper, but who will get poled? Only 200ths separating the two drivers. Bruce Lee Harden using all of the track and more. 600ths up on his best lap. Gets the car hooked in. Looks like a nice line coming out of the final corner. Might want it to be a little bit tighter to the apex than what he would have wanted, but nothing doing. Gibb goes quicker. So he's now almost got a 10th to the good. Bruce Lee needs to keep up his improvements if he wants to challenge that. Couple of bites at the throttle there. You can see on the throttle indicator, and he doesn't improve. 1 lap to go for these two drivers. Who's going to get pole? Gibb or Bruce Lee? Gibb just coming through turn 5. Whereabouts is Bruce? He's just coming through turn 4. Just flicks the car through the apex, does Bruce. But we're going to stay with Gibb because he's now coming towards turn number 9. Well, I say coming towards, he's midway down the circuit, or rather down the straight. Not much of a straight is this one. It's only about 250 odd metres practically. Or 350 metres, I should say. So round the corner comes Gibb. Is he going to get pole position? Is he going to keep hold of it? Does he improve? He improves again. Great lap from Gibb. Gets himself a 10th up. What about Bruce? Comes round the final corner. Tighter line from Bruce. Still taking a few bites at the cherry. But is he going to improve? No. So, P. Gibb takes his first pole of the season. And the first driver other than Hirokram to do so. So, P. Gibb, he must be pretty happy with that one. He's on pole position. Bruce Lee in second. D10 Piper will start third. Or the gravel trap, whichever one he prefers on that. D. Whitehouse will be fourth. Jordan fifth. Seamus sixth. Timmy seventh. Burnt Fry eighth. And Wace, we will yet to see whether he will start even fourth or ninth in terms of qualifying. Yeah, huge difference between the McGanns and of course the Scirocco. For lobby 2 in the McGanns, they were doing the 54 lap time, so I can imagine drivers in lobby 1 were certainly doing 53s. I can certainly imagine that, maybe even quicker. But it's a good moment for Gibb. He must be happy. Obviously, Gibb referring to in the comment there, he was on pole in lobby 1 by 1,000th of a second. This time he's on pole by a yawning chasm, 1/10 compared to before. So a little bit of a buffer to play with for him. Obviously, the driver's got to make sure they get their launch procedures all set up, make sure they've got the right traction control settings at the start. It's going to be a key point in these cars. Before we do that, though, we'll let Jordan reset the lobby so that Wace gets in, and we will wait and see how these drivers attack this wonderful circuit. Obviously on the island of Honshu in of course in the Kanto region. For those of a certain age will know, of course, the first ever Pokemon game was set in the Kanto region. And so there they are, the drivers are on circuit, but of course we know that there's going to be a manual reset of the grid, so everyone will leave and we will wait for a few moments. Will anyone leave before the lights, or will they all want to get the best start? We'll soon find out. I'm going to go a quick chat just to say everyone exit. So yeah, Pete Gibb decided to stamp his authority, getting himself into turn 1 before anyone else. So D10 Piper still going around the circuit. Not really. Now he's slowed down and stopped. And now we wait for him to leave. There we go. And just Jordan left on circuit now. So race cancelled. Lobby will get reset. Gibbs saying in the chat there, missed the McGann start. Practice needed. Absolutely, you're going to need to make sure you get the best start you possibly can. Same for all the drivers. Jordan's just updated that now. So we are moments away from round 3 at Tsukuba in the Volkswagen Sciroccos. Seamus has left the room. Not quite certain what's happened there. So we'll have to wait. So just waiting on if Seamus is going to rejoin or not. So I hope that he can get back into the lobby. Jordan just putting a message into the group chat there saying whether or not Seamus is going to return. It's a little bit of a wait for the time being. Too late for Seamus, unfortunately. Okay, so Seamus is sadly out, so we're down to 8 drivers. So Jordan obviously setting the grid at the moment. Sad for Seamus. It's unfortunate. We did have some problems in the McGann lobby, and then we've had a couple of issues already with this. So, and getting the stream and everything set up, getting the lobby set up as well for Wace. So, not to worry. Race will be starting now, as Jordan's just said, and we can get into the next wonderful 20 minutes. 8 drivers lining up on the grid. All 8 of them have got an opportunity to be the latest and newest race winner in the Scirocco League. Drivers on the grid. P. Gibb in that red and blue car on the right hand side of the screen. Bruce Lee on the left in that black and grey. 20 minutes on the right hand side. Here come the numbers. And the race is live here from Tsukuba, and Wace is not off the grid at all. That's game over for Wace by the look of it. D. Whitehouse, though, it gets past him. No one managed to hit the back of him, which is really convenient. D. Whitehouse up to 3rd already. Great start for him. Bruce Lee Hardin's got up the inside of Gibb. He's into the lead already. So Bruce Lee Hardin is in 1st place as it stands. P. Gibb in 2nd, D. Whitehouse up to 3rd, D10 Piper down to 4th, not the end of the world, he's still right in the thick of it. Trying to have a little look at the inside as D10 Piper. Timmy is 5th, Jordan in 6th place, followed by Burnfry, who's another Jordan, he's in 7th at the moment. Timmy on the outside has been hung out to dry by D10 Piper. Got to be careful trying to slot himself back in, little bit of bunching, little bit of bumping going on. Timmy up the inside, he's into 4th. Jordan's gone too deep into the corner and he's been overtaken by Jordan, quite literally, but he's got a bit more momentum as JPH and he's back into 6th position. So good for him so far. D10 Piper in 5th, Timmy 4th, D Whitehouse putting the pressure on. What is Wace doing? No, he's just rolling backwards, I think. So that is a hazard on circuit. That is a problem that needs to be rectified. Bruce Lee, though, currently leading the way. He's got 6 tenths to P. Gibb. He's currently all over the grass and the curb, trying to hold off D. Whitehouse, who's trying to hold off Timmy. It's a great fight so far. Jordan on the outside of D10 Piper. That's going to be brave trying to get around the outside there, but obviously has to slot back in. Careful of Burnfry. He's just there. Now, for anyone who's listening, there is something going on with Wace's car. Be careful coming out of the final corner. Coming, though, down into turn number 8. Bruce Lee leading the way as it stands. P. Gibb has been overtaken by D. Whitehouse by the look of it. He's already through. So D. Whitehouse up to 2nd on a charge is the Club 100 driver. Timmy in 4th. D10 Piper in 5th. Jordan 6th. Burntfry 7th. Wace has now moved a bit further forward. Not certain what's happened to him, but in any case, he's already 3 laps down. Burntfry just looking to try and go around the outside. Not quite there. P. Gibb being challenged by D10 Piper. Our pole sitter down in 4th. So on the inside is Gibb. But oh, Piper had to be careful. Jordan was looking. A little bit more contact. Here comes Burntfry, but has to break out of that one. So already the group's already starting to split a little bit. Jordan all over the back of D10 Piper. Looks for a little bit of a switchback. He's on the inside. Breaks late. Dives too late. Forces D10 Piper wide. He's trying to cut Jordan off. Is Jordan. But unfortunately for Burntfry, he's got through, and Jordan, result of his sportsmanship, drops back to what is currently penultimate place. Where is Wace on circuit? That is a problem. In the middle of the road, he's been hit by Gibb. What on earth is going on with that car? It should not be on circuit. Bruce Lee leads the way. D. Whitehouse is 2nd. Timmy 3rd place at the moment. Burntfry in 4th. D10 Piper 5th. Jordan in 6th. Unfortunately for Gibb, he's down to 7th, and quite frankly, that car could have been moved, and it's been stuck there, and you can hear the annoyance in my voice at the moment. I'm very frustrated that that's happened. It's not what we want to see in any way, shape or form. It's just ruined Pete Gibbs' race, unfortunately. So Bruce Lee leads the way. He's in 1st. He's got D. Whitehouse putting the pressure on him now. The Club 100 driver looking for a first win of the season, as is everyone in this current league. Good line from D. Whitehouse. A little bit of a better one. We've seen during practice that Bruce Lee was taking that tighter line. And again, what is going on? I'm not very happy at all. Bruce Lee leading. D. Whitehouse 2nd. Timmy 3rd. CRT Burntfry in 4th place. He's managed to get D10 Piper somewhere on circuit. Jordan will be very annoyed that he's been stuck behind D10 Piper for the opening 5 laps. He hasn't been able to try and fight his way past just yet. Gibb, you know what? That's fair play from Gibb. He's pushed Wace off the circuit, and quite frankly, I don't need to say what needs to be said. So D. Whitehouse is in 2nd. Timmy in 3rd, Burntfry 4th, D10 Piper still in 5th place, still got Jordan behind him. Gibb now all in 7th. You know, his race is effectively over, but he takes the Champions Award for just doing what he's done. Yeah, speaks volumes. So D. Whitehouse looking still at the back of Bruce Lee Harding. You can see D. Whitehouse there looking for an opportunity. Timmy got a lot of pressure from Burntfry trying to deal with him. Jordan's up to 5th now, so D10 Piper's gone off the road. I'm not quite certain where he ended up. And there's P. Gibb just going around the circuit now in 7th place. So we'll cut back to the 2 leading fights at the moment. D. Whitehouse, you can just see a little bit further up the road, is up looking for a move, but here comes Burntfry on the outside of Timmy. These 2 tied on points in the championship, don't forget. As it stands, they will both potentially move past Hirokram. I just checked my point standings are correct, of course. I believe that would be the case. Burntfry still looking to try and go running outside if he can. Looks to do a switchback. Timmy needs to come across immediately to defend that. Timmy not defending it. There's the move up the inside from Burntfry. Of course he was going to take it, but he goes too deep. Here comes Timmy right back up the inside. Good switchback, good move, nice clean racing between the 2. So Timmy, good racing, up to 3rd, back up, really good fighting going on. But here comes Burntfry now, he's back up the inside. He's going to be on the outside for turn 5. Will he look to try and hang it around the outside? No, looks to do a switchback again. He's going to be on the outside. Timmy covers aggressively, well within his rights. Oh, contact between the 2. Timmy's gone sideways, nearly off into the gravel, really well held. That's allowed Jordan back into the fight, but that might have just killed off their potential fight for the race victory. Not ideal at all. And like I was saying, these 2 drivers 13 points behind Hirokram. Whoever finishes 3rd will take the championship lead. That's what's at stake for these 2 at the moment. So Jordan now joins onto the back of those 2. Further up the field, the two fighters for the race lead at the moment. D. Whitehouse looking for every move through. He's got a really good run. That's fantastic from D. Whitehouse. He's on the outside. Coming into turn 5. Bruce Lee on the inside. Bruce Lee breaks a little bit earlier and he's through. D. Whitehouse up into the lead. Fantastic move. Really good opportunistic driving. Bruce Lee went a little bit deep on the brakes. And D. Whitehouse in the lead. Looking potentially for a first win since last season on Gran Turismo Sport. Last won the McGanns season 18 did D. Whitehouse. Bruce Lee has won a race in the McGanns as well in Lobby 1 last season, that was. Timmy won a number of races last season in the McGanns. Bert Fry, you know, always fighting for those race victories, the CRT driver. Jordan in 5th place. A little bit of a gap to the two drivers in front of him. There's Piper just on the brakes there in that orange and black car. Gibbs just gone and done a personal best. Gained a 2nd on that lap. And Wace, I think he's... yeah. So, D. Whitehouse leads the way. Good for him at the moment. You can see he's already started to stretch a gap out to Bruce Lee Harden. You see Timmy's got a little bit of a gap to Bert Fry as well. Jordan, I think, has just been dropped on this lap. And you can see the gap there, 55.9 compared to a 55.5 from Bert Fry. Obviously, in terms of the drivers, Wace is now falling backwards down the circuit. That's in a hazardous place. If it carries on rolling, that is. Something to keep an eye on. D10 Piper, still in 6th place. Jordan in 5th. Bert Fry 4th. Timmy 3rd. But Bruce Lee's still hanging on to D. Whitehouse, despite getting past him. D. Whitehouse hasn't been able to stretch his legs the way he would have wanted to in the opening lap or two. You see Wace is just crawling backwards, making sure that the other drivers, that doesn't come back onto a hazardous position. We're coming round the final corner with D10 Piper, and that's what I'm worried about, where the track comes back onto the AstroTurf. You know, the car was thoroughly wedged into the wall, and now it's coming back onto the circuit. It's very irresponsible, I have to say. D. Whitehouse though leading the way. Bruce Lee in 2nd, and I think Gibb getting involved, being a champion there on that one. I'm not watching him at the moment. It looks like he's just moving Wace again, which he shouldn't have to do, realistically. But Bruce not being gapped at the moment by D. Whitehouse. Still half a race to go. You can see just P. Gibb on the left hand side, just trying to get the car out of the way. A little bit dodgy in terms of going into turn 1. You see D10 Piper's run off the circuit at the final corner. And there Gibb moves that other Scirocco out of the way. So there's Bruce Lee, still in 2nd. Just still keeping on to that, trying to hold on to that momentum. Just trying to make sure he latches onto the back of D. Whitehouse. There's a comment that's just come in on the Twitch stream there. I'll pin him with brakes, says Gibb. So Timmy now under pressure from Bert Fry. You can see Bert Fry all over the back there. He's going to go for the inside. He's going to make a lunge on the inside of Timmy. A little bit of contact. Timmy holds on to the place and just about keeps in front of his fellow Scirocco driver. You see Burnt Fry. Got another good run coming out of turn 8. Got into the slipstream. Not going to be close enough for a lunge. This certainly isn't the last lap yet. Quite some away from it. So Burnt Fry, is he going to be close enough for a lunge? We're coming towards turn 1. No, he's not quite close enough at the moment. It's on the inside of Timmy. Timmy ran too deep into the corner. It's going to be on the outside for turn number 2. Inside for 3, but outside for 4, which is the hairpin. On the brakes, later goes Timmy. He's gone too deep, in fact. Burnt Fry looking for that switchback. It's a really good run. And he's got past Timmy. So, at the moment, championship leader elect is Burnt Fry if he can hold on to 3rd place. Great driving. That was a really good overtake. Really well timed. He's gone too deep into the corners, Burnt Fry. Probably giddy with excitement, the fact that he's just realised he's in the lead of the championship. But Burnt Fry in 3rd place at the moment. Jordan in 5th. I think it's a distant 5th for Jordan. Obviously, I think Jordan racing on the controller tonight. Yeah, it looks like it is the way that the car's pitching between the corner. A quick ride on board with him, in fact, just to see how he's getting on. It could be the wheel. Not quite certain, actually. Not certain. Not quite sure on that one. He's setting a personal best, though, is Jordan. At the moment, 6 minutes 26 to go on the session. Piper running round in 6th. Okay. You know, championship wise, he's at the back effectively, but he's still going to score good points for 6th place. Gibb, I think, to be honest with you, should score points for 7th, because quite frankly he's done nothing wrong in his race. So D Whitehouse still leading the way. He's got 1.3 to Bruce Lee Harding, who's been reeled in by Burnt Fry. Burnt Fry clearly going for broke here, and look at this, he's gone and done another purple lap. He's fastest man on circuit. He gained 7/10 on Bruce Lee Harding on that lap alone. Burnt Fry showing the pace that he needs to do to potentially get to 2nd position. I think D Whitehouse at the moment, really good performance from the Club 100 driver. It's got a quarter of the race to go. Can he take a first win for Club 100 in the Next Gen leagues? And look how close it is. A little bit of a flash of the lights there from Dave. I think he knows what he needs to do. Bruce Lee, though, has now been occupied by the front bonnet of Burnt Fry coming round turn number 9. They're very close on circuit. We're with Burnt Fry at the moment. Look how quickly he's decimated the gap between the two of them. Burnt Fry brakes a little bit later. Looks at a move. Not quite there just yet. He's really pushing Bruce Lee through the hairpin at turn 1. Still a good number of laps left to go in this race. Bruce Lee deep on the brakes. He had to pull the handbrake, did Bruce Lee there. Just saw that on the brake. Just fends off Burnt Fry for now. All this aiding D Whitehouse at the moment. You can see the drivers cutting that little bit of inside just to give them a bit more, really, space to play with because of how quickly that corner tightens up. Burnt Fry on the inside now. Can he get a run? Not quite. He's not quite close enough. We're on the floor cam effectively with Burnt Fry coming towards turn 9. See, brakes later. Don't think he's going to try and work around the outside. Will look to try and get on the throttle later, but missed his opportunity. Meanwhile, Timmy is closing the gap on these two. Burnt Fry looking to do a little switch back. Clever tactic, but Bruce Lee, he's wise to that. D Whitehouse still leading the way at the minute. You can see Burnt Fry all over the back of Bruce at the moment. Really pushing the car. 3 minutes 30 to go in this session now. Enough time for 3, maybe 4 laps. A little bit of contact between the two. It's just allowed Timmy onto the back of them. Could have been that Timmy was out of the race, but he seems to have really bounced back since being overtaken by Burnt Fry. See, Timmy has a tighter line to Burnt Fry. Burnt Fry taking that wider line. Seems to work for him. Timmy very close on the grass there, nearly going off the circuit. He's got to be careful of that. And you see Bert Fry looking again at a little move. Now he's got to play the game. Now he's got to try and attack and defend. Jordan, his different game is trying to get to the finish at this stage. Timmy taking a very wide line, looking to try and get the car turned in. Which he does, but he didn't quite get the momentum he probably would have hoped for. But Bert Fry is practically pushing Bruce Lee through the car. Look how close to his rear wing is. He's going to go around the outside. It's a brave man that would try it, especially with Timmy so close. Gets a good run, does Timmy, but Bert Fry's was even better. He's trying to look to the outside of Bruce Lee now as they approach turn 9. And Bert Fry breaks a lot later. Thought he was going to get the move done, but he doesn't. Looks to do a switchback. He's got a really good bit of momentum. Bruce Lee can't get across. This is the opportunity that Bert Fry's been looking for. He's on the inside. Gets the move. Bruce Lee shuts the door. Looks to do a switchback. He's right on the curb. He's on the outside of Bert Fry now. Great racing between these three. But Timmy looking to the inside. That's very late. I think that would have been very opportunistic. And he's lost more time than what he should have done there. But Bert Fry, great move. Really good bit of racing between the two. So, 1 minute 40 to go. He's got 2 seconds to D Whitehouse. In theory, it shouldn't be possible. But anything can happen in this Scirocco League. And with 2 laps to go, a lot of work to be done. Last time out, if you consider Bert Fry's best lap to 55.2. Dave's lap, a 55.6. He just did that on the last lap, so has some pace in the locker. He just goes quicker again, does DYR, so there's certainly speed there. 2 laps to go for a maiden win in the Scirocco League. As Bert Fry, then Bruce Lee and Timmy. These three had a great fight then for a number of laps. But I suspect Bert Fry now will decide to put his foot down and put as much pressure on as he can. He's a little wide through turn 5, does Bert Fry. He's got to be careful of that. There's Jordan in the Boyd transport car. 5th place for him seems to be going to be his result. D10 Piper just in 6th at the minute. And obviously Gibb and Weiss. So, round that final corner goes D Whitehouse to start his final lap. 2.1 to the good. What about Bert Fry? What's his lap? Doesn't improve. I thought it might have gone quicker. Obviously no tyre wear in this series. Bert Fry in 2nd. Bruce Lee 3rd. Bruce Lee hasn't been dropped off. It's been a really good drive from it. Oh, just as I say that, I thought he was going to spear off into the wall. Oh, that is a heart in mouth moment for the Person IT Solutions car, is what our phrase is. D10 Piper seen the checkered flag. So 6th place for him. Good solid haul of points for the orange and black car. Bruce Lee, don't think he's going to be close enough to get Bert Fry. And Bert Fry himself is not going to be close enough to D Whitehouse, because what a return to form this is for the Club 100 driver. Giving a little bit of a flash of the lights down the straight there. He's on the final lap. Round the final corner he comes. It's going to be, for the first time this season, D Whitehouse who takes the race win. Great result for the Club 100 driver. Bert Fry takes 2nd. Bruce Lee takes his first podium of the season in 3rd. Timmy comes home in 4th, and Jordan rounds out the finishes in 5th place with a lovely 360 from Jordan, it has to be said. But what a race in D Whitehouse. He drove excellently, got past Bruce Lee early on, and that was it. He just needed to put his head down, which he did. Really good performance. He should be absolutely proud of himself with that one. 2nd place went to Bert Fry. Really good fight back through the field. 3rd place to Bruce Lee, first podium of the season. Bert Fry, your new championship leader, let's not forget. He's now going to be on 51 championship points, so a little bit of a gap for him ahead of Heracram. He's going to need every point he needs in this championship. Timmy, he'll be pleased with that in 4th. He would have hoped for a podium, but his little opportunistic move into turn 4 didn't quite pay off, so 4th will do for him. 5th for Jordan, he'll take another solid haul of points, as will D10 Piper. 7th goes to Gibb. He definitely deserves the points, does Gibb. He was unfortunate in the race. And Weiss, So that's the results there for that one. That is for round number 3. Really good fights in there. Absolutely gib. Lots of fighting in that one. It was good to watch. Really good little fights between second, third and fourth. And even the battle for the race lead earlier on between Dave and Bruce Lee was good fun to watch. So brilliant to see. Next week we're going to be heading to Interlagos, which is going to be a fantastic race to watch these Sciroccos run around. They'll be obviously following after the Renault Megane Trophy. So tune in next Thursday to watch that. That's going to be fantastic to watch. I'm still waiting for the countdown timer to click over to 0. And, 30 seconds to go on that one. Another little comment just coming down on Twitch there. Thank you, Gib. It's a good lead to commentate on. A little bit frustrated, of course, of what happened earlier on in the race, in particular. But D. Whitehouse won't be frustrated at all. He's going to be celebrating that first race win of the season. His first since the Meganes last season in season 18. He's going to be very happy with his performance, is Dave. As will Burnt Fry with that championship lead now, as well as Bruce Lee in that. Person IT Solutions, we shall call it. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. D. Whitehouse there, your race winner for round 3 at Tsukuba Race Circuit. Great result for Dave. He's going to be very happy with that. Next week, like I say, we're heading off to Interlagos. It's going to be a wonderful track to race around in these Sciroccos. Do sign up for our social media pages if you're interested, obviously on Facebook, Instagram, other social medias including Twitter, as well as Discord. But that's it for tonight. Do tune in same time next week for the Sciroccos on this channel, and you'll be able to see the replay from Lobby 2 on Sunday as well for that. In fact, I think I might record it tomorrow. I've got a day off. So wherever you might be in the big wide world, have a wonderful evening, day, morning, night, wherever you are, and I'll see you very, very soon.